Well, family, I'm going to stop sharing. Let me stop sharing first. And get the family. Now we're going to move on to the next portion of our Zoom, whereby you can ask questions or make comments. We just ask you to raise your hand, please, and we just ask you to keep your questions to or comment to about 5 minutes so that everybody can have an opportunity to share or ask question or comment. So time is given at this time. I'm just going to start by saying I just want to make a comment. When you were speaking about the Mpangi Banika, when you were speaking about the nature of Isaiah, how his nature is different from even angels, I had never even considered that. And I just wanted to say that this that when you made that point, brought that point out, it helped me to understand why the scripture says of him that he is long suffering. Yeah, that really connected the scripture when it describes Isaiah as being long suffering, yes, in his nature. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Nabu, time is given.
Mbote family, thank you very much, Yaya Benika and Yaya Tusamba. This was very powerful. I'm thankful for everything. Since nobody wants to say something, I just want to go ahead and add this part. While we were talking, I kind of started imagining the movie Matrix. I feel like it was kind of similar, the same thing, how they put their thing on their head and somehow they get out their body and then they appear to this human world and they do I don't know if you guys watched the movie, the Matrix movie. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they go there.
Yes,
I
know.
know it, but yeah, so then they came back their body. So it's kind of similar thing. So I feel like it was kind of same thing. Another thing is, you mentioned something how a body is very important when there's a spirit. It just reminds me how a body without knowledge, and no, a soul without knowledge is dead. And last thing is how I'm kind of having trouble, like every time I met, especially Karian Pemba, when I'm trying to make them understand that the Trinity stuff, when they say they are one, they don't get it. Like they don't understand that one means they are on one accord. Like they understand they are one. They are like in my language, ubumwe, meaning we agree with one thing. But like we don't have our differences. But they be like, no, it's just like all three things in one person, which is very hard to make them understand that unity with one accord. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Sister Elisawa, time is given.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, once again. I was hoping Brother Tusamba and Brother Benika would also touch on this point, which is, I've also experienced it. A lady or a woman, I won't mention her name because I'm protecting her, even though she was wrong, right? Whereby a person can violate you spiritually, whereby they can take your soul and go against your own will. Sometimes people are aware that their souls are taken against their will, or they are unaware. Either way, they are violated because they did not agree to doing that. So there are people who do that and come and take people's souls, and they go and do whatever they want to do with it. In my case, this person, I was sleeping in my couch in my friend room, and so this person took my soul. And then there's a place where my father built a garage by wood and sheets and what have you. And then he took down that sheet car garage, and he wanted to build a garage with bricks. So before that whole process, so this woman took me to that place, and when I got there, I saw a lot of people, right? And they quickly hid their faces away from me, and they all screamed, "Take it away, take it away, take it away," you know. So as I believe it's the Spirit of the Most High who keeps on bringing me back to that incident. And then he keeps on telling me that they were trying to initiate you, but they couldn't, because it was also during the time whereby it was it was my first time being saved and what have you, and it was the beginning of my intense prayer life. And so they couldn't handle it, I guess. I'm not sure, I don't know. So they couldn't initiate me. So God protected me. So there is also a case whereby a person can come and violate you and take your soul against your will to go and do whatever they want to do with it. And so I also know of someone who also confessed to these things, you know, whereby their grandmothers or whatever, they would take their soul and go and do funny business. So I was hoping that Brother Tusamba and Brother Benika would touch on that point as well. Number two, I wanted to ask, this one is a question. I wanted to ask, what about telepathic communication? Where does that fall in? And also, is that right? Or what? I just want to know also about that. Is it part of astral projection whereby people communicate telepathically, or all that stuff? That's a question. Thank you.
Allow us, Mama Matuzola, just to go quick on the comment, the questions. Thank you a lot, Sister Solisha, for that. Luvuva Moon family.
Luyala.
Yala.
Yala.
Let's feel that you still them. Sister just brought something very important as well that was passing. When talk about astral projection, it is also in the side that she was pointing out, family. There are people, we call them witches, that their mission here on earth is to kill and to take a lot of souls to work for them. You see, there are people that they are dead, or some of them are still alive, but they are spiritually dead. So when we call the person still walking here on earth, but spiritually is dead, his soul or her soul is working for someone else. So those people have this evil power to kill you in the spirit and to make you working for them spiritually. And our sisters is very lucky. You have to praise Tatan Zambi, sister, that he made you to get out from there. You are very blessed, sister. Because what happened, it was indeed a kind of initiation. Here in Angola, we say when they're trying to convert yourself to their world. We call them to make you feticero, witch, kimbanda, sangoma, all these things. So what they do, they take you there spiritually. They show you everything. If you're weak, if you are spiritually weak, they win over you, and then they start working with you, and then you become one of them that will come back and start bringing the trouble to your family's life, friends, and so on. As Pangi Benika said, there are those that come out from the body and they cause accident. This can be accident or killing any people. So that's the comment about that. So telepathy, family, it is not wrong. Again, when the Mwanda Velela came down in 1949, our ancestors were able to communicate to one another spiritually. When Zambe gives you the ability to talk with someone else without a cell phone. Back on the day, Vates had this spiritual gift to do that. When the Mwanda Berela came down in Kinshasa, Congo, they were able to communicate with people who were not in that room. By what? By this spiritual communication. So it is not wrong, not, but the only problem again is what we are trying to bring here every single day, family. Kadian Pemba uses the same thing to deceive our people, uses the same spiritual channel to destroy us. Instead of us communicating in the right way, others do it to kill others, to destroy others. So thank you a lot, sister. I think Pangi Benika saw some points on that. We'd like to finish here and get
that Samba. Luvova mu family.
Yala.
Thank you very much, Sister Holitha, for asking. Thank you, Brother Naibo, for your comment. Family, this is a very important conversation, right? Don't be shy to ask if you have a question, right? And don't even think, should I ask this question, they will judge me. No, feel free to express yourself, right? Because now we are talking. Because the moment, last time Brother Samba said, the moment we leave, on Monday you will be by your own, Tuesday you will be by your own, Wednesday is by your own, And if there is anything, we have doubt, okay, feel free to ask, all right? Or even to say what is in your heart. So anyway, Sister Holitha, thank you very much. The first thing you mentioned, Sister Holitha, Mama Matola is still there? Oh, it's fine. Let me just, no problem, Matola. Let me just do this. Can you see it, family?
We saw it, but it went away.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes, now we can.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to, show something on the point 5, and on the point 5. Sister Olifa, what you just mentioned, we also have touched on that. The first thing, that you say that about that person who stole your soul and was trying to do evil stuff. We mentioned that on the point 5. We say in the point 5, astral projection is techniques, the witches and wizard. This one, is the techniques the witch and the wizard uses to cause accident, blah, blah, blah. The person get out from his body, blah, 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 and then here, they cause accident, they do a lot of evil stuff, and then on the, okay, this point here, for that reason, the person needs to stay focused and have a high level of sorcery. That is here now. I'm here now. That is by getting power from the blood of the people they killed, or steal people from earth to the evil underground kingdom.
Okay.
This is the point you mentioned. Some people, they do that. That's their job. What they do, they study yourself, they see your ability, and in most cases, they like those people, those human beings with gift, so that they can take advantage from your gift, to use your gift for a wrong purpose.
Okay. Thank you.
You see? Yes.
Yes.
That is this point. They know you,
Okay.
sister. They know you. Kajapemba doesn't, he doesn't waste time, following useless people. The more attacks you get, that's a reason that your tree is full of fruit. And of course, when a tree is full of fruit, they will stone the tree. And this is what this person was trying to do. Yes, they do it sometimes unwillingly. Sometimes you are not aware. Sometimes you don't want. In the lion man experience, his grandmothers, those grandmothers who belong to this evil darkness kingdom, they like to take advantage on the children because children are innocent. They take the child to where they do a ritual to the child. The child doesn't know nothing. But some child, they grew up witches. That's why sometimes we will go back to the mercy of time. That's why time is merciful. Sometimes those people who are doing evil, those evil was planted in them while they were still kids. They were not aware of that. But anyway, sometimes they are also able to steal our soul, even against our will. That's why the word of Nzambi is important. Why? To defend ourselves. And I'm very glad when you mentioned, they were wrong, because they were wrong and they didn't succeed, above all because you say that was a moment where you awakened, you were saved, and you were starting to pray to Nzambi. And believe me, that's weapon you got from heaven defended you. Your prayers saved you from them. And you mentioned, about initiation. Yes, when they steal your soul, willing or unwillingly, they can initiate you as well. They can. They initiate you spiritually. Sometimes you're sleeping. There are many people that were initiated, at night. They're sleeping and they feel like they have this dream. And in this dream, they are astral projection. They see themselves, they're like, I was dreaming. No, you were not dreaming. You were astral projecting. And some people, they are taken. This lady, she was initiated by her friend. Her friend came at night. She was sleeping. And she was sleeping, and then she saw her friend. And then she's like, are you in my room? And then she looked this side and she see herself in the bed. She was like, what is going on here? And then her friend said, don't worry. I came to take you to our church. And the friend also, she was looking for a church. The lady, she was looking for a church. And the friend was like, yes, I came to take you to our church. She was like, okay, since I'm looking for a church, let me go with you. This happened in spirit. And she was taken, but the friend told her, look, we will go in a trip, but when we start to travel, please stay focused, all right? Otherwise, we'll be left behind. And she said, yes. She said, yes. And then they travel. In spirit, you can travel, you can fly. They started to fly. And she was taken to the kingdom of darkness. This kingdom of darkness is real, very real, very. She was taken there. And the moment they arrived there, she saw nice people, everybody was smiling. Because she didn't have the word of the time, she was deceived very easy. And there, she was initiated. That's why we advise, especially our brothers from diaspora, please, because we are awakening, and some people, we want to embrace our culture and stuff. But sometimes in this process of embracing our culture, many people will try to come and try to deceive us by saying, hey, before you embrace your culture, you have to be cleansed, you have to use these, you have to drink these and that. Careful. Be careful. Just, Kanyampemba is very smart. He can initiate you against your will by taking advantage of our ignorance. That's why the scripture said, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And the question you ask telepathically, well, Brother Tsamba already mentioned that system. We human beings, we are spiritual beings. We are not just a physical. The mothers, they can explain that properly. You know, when I was a kid, even right now, if my mother look at me, I already know what she meant by that. That's one of the communication means as well. Sometimes she just look at me and I will understand automatically. You know, in spirit, you just know, period. You just know. And sometimes that's happened also a lot in the dreams. When you're having dreams, sometimes the thing that you will see, nobody will tell you, but you will know it, you will be aware. Sometimes this entity will look at you, you know, family. In dreams, you just understand stuff. And sometimes an angel, or, you know, if it is a Saya or evil entity, if he show up to you, you will understand what they mean. Why? Because when you're in spirit, you just know it. So, sister, you know, that is not demonic as well. That can happen. But of course, Kanyambemba, you know, he just like to flip everything upside down. You know, he just like to corrupt everything. But sometimes we will know it. Sometimes when you look to a person, you know, and you look to other person, you will understand. And if you open the mouth, you will say the same thing exactly. Yes. Mama Zola, Matono Masak, Staholithwa.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tata. Thank you.
Matono Masak.
Matana Masaka, for that question, Sister Lisa, and Mpangi Banika and Tsamba for responding. Royal daughter time is given.
TMA family, you know, there are things that will pass it through my mind. The first thing as I heard you speaking was the psychotropic drugs, these medications that they had. First, before that, it was like cocaine and heroin and stuff like that that they introduced in our neighborhoods, specifically for us. And then they started with the psychotropic medication. And it was only when it affected them, that's when they paid attention and started to legalize it and you know, started to, they said the diagnosis, it was a diagnosable illness. Before that, they would just arrest people and throw them in prison for like 20, 25 years for drugs that they introduced. You know, we lived in poor neighborhoods. There's no way that we could afford the kind of drugs that came into neighborhoods. But before that, they started arresting people and putting them in prison for a long time. I worked the prison system. I don't know if anybody knows that. I was a prison officer in New York State. So I'm kind of familiar with that whole situation where they would give somebody, they find you with a bag and they would put you in jail for 25, 30 years, you know. And so it was only when it started affecting them that they all of a sudden came up and said, oh, this is a diagnosable illness. And so you can't arrest somebody for something that they can't avoid. But before, it was an arrestable illness, you know. And so that whole situation, after that, it was the psychotropic meds that they started putting people on, you know, for pain meds, and they would give them these psychotropic meds, and these people would hallucinate, and people would jump off the bridges and commit suicide and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, that's what, when you were speaking, that brought all of that to mind, because now it's an epidemic because it's affecting them. Before that, they would just let people just be strung out for years and die, you know, until now. Now it's a diagnosable illness. And so they're trying to legislate and, you know, even with the pain meds, that people who are really in pain don't have access to pain meds anymore because they're saying that they've been abusing it. So that's what that brings in mind. And the second thing I had to talk about, my great grandmother, she was baptized as a Catholic. She was christened as a Catholic, so they say it's her baptism certificate. It's really her christening. She was a baby, and so it says initiation. It says baptism initiation, and I looked at that and I was like, something doesn't add up here. So, you know, even, and you know, I see, well, growing up, I saw a lot of people used to say, oh, I was born a Catholic and I would die a Catholic. And I never understood that, because like, what does that, you know? And so now I'm understanding that, you know, they were initiated. And they can't detach themselves. And so that brought me to my other point that I was thinking about, where David and Jonathan had knit their souls together. They had a covenant, and marriage is a covenant. And so a covenant is really knitting souls together. So, you know, it's kind of murky for me with the difference with the marriage and covenants and initiation. I know a covenant is something that you voluntarily go into, but initiation, it more or less, most of the times it seems like it's involuntary. So I just wanted a little clarity on all of that. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Ya está. Entiendo.
Do you, Benika, do you or Chisama want to give clarity to what Sister Royal Daughter was, you know, she was asking for clarity on initiation versus covenant. Is that right, Royal Daughter?
Yeah.
Matondo Masaka, Mama Royal, thank you a lot for bringing that point, especially when you said about Catholic baptism. You are very spiritual, my mom. You will see that in our Israel family. The Congo Kingdom was very powerful. They were able to move spiritually from one side to another. Zambia was among them. They started being weak when the Catholic movement entered in the land. Not just by what they have received from them, the teaching, but family. That baptism wasn't a normal baptism. That baptism was something very spiritual and demonic. You see that by the time you are changing your name, it's no longer you. We Bantu believe that name has power. It represents us. When you call me to Samba, it is indeed to Samba, me. It's my being to Samba. So, but when you come and baptize me and give me another name, you are giving me another identity. That's where this initiation comes in, family. You see that all the kings, they were baptized, and everybody, when they start being baptized, especially the king, I think it was
Then Sakunafunda.
Yeah, Sakunafunda. When he was baptized, his ideas changed. His strength was weak. The baptism what they brought to us was full of evil. And people think as well that white people, sorry, we're not against races here, color, no. But we're against what they did, especially the Catholic. We think that they have no evil stuff. We call witchcraft, they call white magic. That white magic family comes from one source, Kadiam Pemba. So that thing was all combined to suppress our power. That initiation, what they did was to suppress our spirituality, our power. By changing their name and baptizing them, they were making them already spiritually slave. Please understand that they were making them spiritually slave. You see, family, a very big, tall man being controlled by a small Caucasian, because spiritually he was already destroyed. That's why we're just following orders. I don't know if we're able to make that comparison or clarification, Amaroya, on that point. I think another one was marriage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
If it's initiation or not.
Like the comparison between like a covenant marriage.
A covenant, yeah.
Yeah.
Marriage is a covenant, family. It is a covenant. Yeah. It's a covenant we make with our partner. And this covenant are made by breaking the blood. Many people ask me, blood and marriage, what is the relation about this? Yes, it is. You will see that, family, please pay attention to what I will say. You will see that every covenant is made by blood. In the first or Old Testament, the covenant was the blood, killing animal. The second covenant, that is we call New Testament, a new covenant, was the blood again. Isaiah had to die. His blood has to come down. So blood is the covenant. And the marriage as well. That's why the woman has to be a virgin for you to break the blood again. So when young people start giving themselves away to different men, this is danger. You are making millions and millions and millions of covenants as well to a man. When you are mixing yourself with different partners, you are not yet married, but you are moving around one to one. According to Nzambe, your first husband is the one that took your virginity. Thank you, Mama Roya. This is coming very strong, but we have to tell this. Be careful moving and walking around. This is not just for young people. That's why Nzambe is against adultery, family. When you do that, you are moving to another covenant. Let's just stop here.
Ngeta Matondo Mataka. Elder Kennedy, time is given.
Yeah, thanks, Brother Benica and Samba. I just wanted to comment that the issue of getting out of body, it happens, but I have a situation where a colleague or a family friend is able to fly around, even to stop evil before they manifest. They are able to fly and see the evil from their spiritual eyes. These are the evil doers, this is what they are doing, and then they are able to stop them in advance. On the issue of issue of being taken captive, I think you had mentioned that most of our forefathers, they were enslaved in spirit. Because if you look at the percentage of religious versus military warfare between Bantus and the nations, the big chunk was done spiritually through religion, through the Bible. We never fought. Even those that fought were defeated. For example, if you look at the Zulu, they defeated the British, they defeated the Italians, but now they defeated the France. But now when you come to the spiritual power, you find that it is the way through the British colonized Africa. It is the way through the Belgium colonized Congo. It is the same way through which the Portuguese colonized Angola. So the bulk of our falling was spiritual. We were enslaved spiritually from our heaven into the underground. And that is the area that we need to be awakened. It's not in the physical, it's not in the monetary system, it's not in the warfare. No, we have to work spiritually. We have to know who we are. We have to avoid the traps that were laid against us so that we can be able to redefine our new path that we are able to control. So the big part is that spiritual power. And that's where most of our Bantus are stuck. They are stuck in religion. Some of them have refused to open their physical eyes. They still believe that religion, so long as it's able to put the bread on the table, is still good, which is not true. Thanks.
Matondo Masaka.
Matondo Masaka, Elder Kennedy.
And maybe I can also add, I also wanted to say that also when it comes to healing, you spoken about out of the body projection. Like we have angelic being in Uganda, the one we call the Bachwezi. So when they want to heal you, you have to give them a consent, like access, the way you do a computer. You give them access, a consent for them to enter your body. When they enter your body, they fight off the evil spirits, they fight off the diseases, and then once they have done that, now they allow you to come back into your body so that now you can be okay. So there is also positive part of that where the angels are able to heal you through a body experience. Thanks.
Matondo Masaka.
Matondo Masaka, Elder Kennedy, for that. Mama Margaret, time is given.
Yes, what my royal daughter was saying concerning the Catholic Church. A few weeks ago, a month, was looking at a program, and somebody was like exposing the Catholic Church. So they were speaking about, they said Rome dedicated a ship to the Marine Kingdom, whatever ritual they had. And in my spirit, it was kind of shocking, because I know the Catholic Church is not an easy place. So I was praying about it. And then I said, wait, I grew up a Catholic and my kids. And I said, listen, this is, let's talking about it, all my body's raising up. I started this shake. I prayed to Tithe and Zambia. I said, Father, this, if they did, I said, all the births and the deaths, that's what Mama Royal daughter said, the birth certificates and the death certificate and all these certificates, marriage certificate, and people, children, as a kid, from 3 months, I think ago, you're baptized with children and all these sort of rituals, I will call it now, because I was a part of that. And, you change them in the white and all these things and all the water. But what they are doing with all these register births and all these things and marriage and things. I say, this is where we lost our power, we lost our identity, we lost so much thing to these people, not knowing, blinded and going into these places. And this is bring a strong conviction in my heart. And I started to pray about it and I was crying and I say, this is where it came to me and say, what they are doing with these things when they register all these names to these people. That is why we are so suppressed to these people, to this world. We are suppressed down because they are taking these things and dedicating it to the Marine Kingdom. But when our back, so we don't know they take it and carry it in Marine Kingdom and have their rituals and whatever the case may be. So when she raised up that was something I had in my spirit so long to speak about. What they are doing with all these register is big log books and all these things. They're not putting it and tucking it for dust. They have a reason why we can't go forward as a people today because of this situation. And many people love the Catholic Church. They have no power in there. Because even when something took place when I went, they couldn't do nothing. I had to pray and fast and bow down to Tatan Zambi to heal me. And even when I had a dream and say, that dream, I was like, I saw myself preaching and saying, these church have no power. I was annoyed, like I just talking to the world and said, these church have no power in it. With all that, I have to go to Tatanzania and pray and fast and everything for him to release me and to heal me. And the next point I heard, what's her name is Sister Louisa, speak about, I wanted to ask, this is a question I have now. Something took place with me. I don't know if people could get initiated over phone calls or whatever it is, because I got a phone call once and I didn't want to answer, but something, no promptness, so I answered the call. And the person said on the other side, no wrong number, but something didn't sit well. I don't know, my spirit started to nigger, but I got sick right after that. I said, but what is this? I got sick. And so I decided the next day I would go and call back that very number to see who is that. But the person answered. I said, what place is this? They said, House of Peace. But then my spirit answered, it's a witch. I said, so I just like, what is this? So I got sick and I started to pray, but things went take a down spiral, but I wasn't giving up at all. I started to pray. The next day I was like in the realms of the spirit. They had me, these witches, I know there was witches, was spirit speaking. I tried to scream, but my mouth was locked down. And I couldn't speak. And they pushed me on a chair to sit and they tied me down. But I seen it like a spiritual court. They had me in front, but all these people was there, but they looked like witches. And I couldn't speak. And one of them blowed something in my mouth. And I was sick after that, but I was not giving up. I prayed and fasted and prayed. And one day I had a revelation with Tatan Zambi, with Mickey, and Tatan Zambi said, okay, all what people did to you, he saw, but he is our witness to everything that takes place here on this earth. And he said, I will heal you. And he did. It sent the angel to touch me. And I know from then that I was healed. I was healed. So this is what I have to say. But I just wanted to know if they can initiate people through phone call, whatever it is. But I saw myself in the realms and I know, I said, but where am I? I was in a court. I know in the spirit, it was a spiritual court. I was sitting there and it blocked my mouth, they hold me down. And I was on this table and the whole held me down there. And I was trying to scream. And the person, it was horrible. And the person I rolling back and I was screaming in my sleep and my son waked me and said, Mommy, I see your eyes turning back in your head. But I was not giving up at all. I prayed so hard and fasted and that takes 4 years because in 2019 that took place. 2022 I was healed. So you cannot give up. Spiritual warfare is dangerous and it is serious. Engata.
Royal daughter, I believe. Royal, you have had your hand up.
Yes, I just a couple of days I was having a conversation with somebody and they were asking me about godparents, and I said, well, we don't christen, we offer them up to Tatan Zambi. And so they says, So no godparents. And so I was trying to explain the concept of godparents during that whole Spanish Inquisition, when our ancestors, they took the children from them and gave them to their people to raise and baptize them as Catholic, and gave them to their people to raise as they claim as Christians. But you know, it was Catholicism that they, you know, and it goes back to that whole initiation thing of our ancestors and the children. So you know, that's why when we pray, we have to renounce these things, because we don't know what kind of covenants were made in with us and in our bloodlines and all of this that we're paying for and we don't know, you know. And the second thing was our ancestors coming out of Egypt. They had the same situation. You know, they had consented to deities back in Egypt, and you know the Bible talks about how the Isolele back then was stiff-necked, but that wasn't their personality. That wasn't Abraham's personality. He was very obedient. So that's what was in their DNA, but they were acting contrary to their DNA because they had consented to these deities all the way back in Egypt. So they could not consent to it, no matter, they saw all the wonders that Nzambi was doing for them, and they could not, because they had already consented to these deities back in Egypt. Ingita.
Ingeta. Thank you, everybody, for your comment. Thank you for your comments. And right now, we just I want to take a minute to welcome our sister Gracie. Are you there, Grace? Can you hear us?
Yes, Mama.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you able to turn your camera on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Is this your first time with us?
The second time, actually.
Oh, okay, okay. This is
Well, the first time in Sunday.
oh, the first time. This is your first time on the Zoom.
The second time.
Oh, the second time. Okay, okay. And tell us again, where are you from?
Congo, Brazzaville.
Yes, yes. Now I remember. Yes, yes. Okay, yes. I thought this was your first time, but we're glad you came back. We're happy you came back. And feel free to share your heart or whatever your comments with us, so we can learn from you and you can learn from us. We're Mosi. So welcome again. Okay, I thought this was your first time. Okay, so now, family, I'm going to turn it back over to Samba Arbanika to give final words. If there's nothing else, then we're going to give thanks. Banika, is there something else?
Oh, yeah, just, say thank you very much, family, for your contribution. And Makudi, we got you, though we couldn't hear properly the dream, but we will talk, all right? Because, yeah, we will speak. That's something you would like to highlight, family. Pay very close attention while you dream, because when you're dreaming, sometimes you can control the dream. You can say no, you can say yes in the dream, right? And if you're having dream, you know, that's not a dream. That's a spiritual experience. You know, let's remind it to have the power to control, you know, whatever happens in the spiritual realm. Because what is done, what is bind in the spiritual realm, it's going to reflect in the physical. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a dream. You know, Jeremiah, he was anointed through dream. It tells us it is, you know, a dream so that we can understand, but that wasn't just dream. That was a spiritual, in the spiritual realm, it was being anointed. And everything that happened in the dream, it reflect physically. And now we regard him as a great prophet. That also means if in a dream you say yes to an evil covenant or initiation, you know, you're in trouble. Yes, that's very serious, family. Please embrace this knowledge and remember that, so that you can save yourself and so that we also can save others. You know, this spiritual knowledge is very, very important. Mama Roya spoke about covenant and initiation, you know, doesn't matter what it is, anything, including the baptism. If somebody is forcing you, that's an evil. Things of Tatan Zambi doesn't need to be forced, you know. And when it comes to initiation, in most cases, people are forced to get initiated. You know, what's wrong with this? Don't force me. In most cases, people are forced to get initiated. And that is not good. You know. So those are the things we'd like to mention. Thank you very much, family. And Mr. Kate, nice to see you as well, though you're hiding your face. And yes, Sister Grace, Mona, once again, nice to see you. A quick question for you, Sister Grace. Are you still there? Sister Grace, are you still there? All right, I think she might be busy. Yes, but anyway, family Matondo, we'll send you the document in the group. And whoever is not in the group, just let us know so that you can also have a copy from that. Matsola, thank you very much also for hosting the Zoom. And the brother David Rocher will also speak, you know. Yes, oh, nice to see you, brother. Nice to see you. Yes. You too. And you mentioned something on the comment. Can you please elaborate that?
Let me see. Oh, let me look at it. I said, also too dealing with spiritual warfare. And I want to make sure I end this all today. I've been trying for many years trying to figure out, because when I was young, I was more by myself. And it happened a lot when I was by myself when I was a child growing up. But I had no one that could understand what I was going through. So I was like, God, when I do the math and I think of the years, it's 37 years. So I'm like, man, 37 years of this stuff needs to end. And I don't fear nothing. I try to grab them this time. But I'm like, you guys acting very tough. You think I can't touch you? If you believe in yourself, appear here. Bring the demons to just appear. I'll show what I can do. And I'm sure my father's more powerful than y'all, my brother. But nothing, they just stay in the spiritual and fooling with me.
I get that. Yeah, Matono Masaka. Well, everything is possible for Nzambi. You know,
yeah.
The most important thing is your will. If you will to finish that, it shall be finished. You know,
yep, sure will.
All that Nzambi want is for us to say yes, and he will act. And believe me, through your intention, he is already acting. But we'll talk more. All right, we'll talk more.
Yeah.
Yes, but one morning, family, please, you know, if you are unsure of using something people tell you to use or to do, don't do it. All right? If people tell you do this, do that, if you're not sure, don't do it. Doesn't matter if it is good, or what. Don't do it. Make sure you understand what different people are telling you to do. Well, Mamatsola Matol Masaka. Yatsamba Matol Masaka. I don't know if you have anything to add. Mamatsola also to I think she wanted to thanks. Ingeta.
Ingeta. It is all done, Mama Matuzal.
Okay, family, let's give thanks for this session. Yuana Kumase. Yuana Berta. Elder Kennedy, could you close us out, please?
Yeah, let's pray for this session. Tata Zambi and Pugu Tulendo, we thank you for this great session where we have come together. We know we have been at 13 people, and we know you have been with us. You say where there are 2 or more, I'm with them. Tata Zambi and Pugu Tulendo, may you give us knowledge and wisdom as we leave this place to change the world. When you are here, you only gave knowledge to the 12, but here we are 13. May we go out and make an impact out there so that our brothers and sisters can be restored back to you. We pray this, believing in the mighty name of Isaiah Congo. Ingeta.
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 Entuade Kentema Mieto.
Entuade Monantima Mieto.
Entuade Monantima Mieto.
Ingeta.
Mwenda
Gambote.
Matondo Masaka.
Bye-bye.
Thank Benika, the recording.
Masajulu mwazela pange kota tudisole tuzelese otishima pange tuzelese omishima pange tuzelese omishima alajano wayo lungu ya Jesu ya nzumbi mundu kitena kuimona mundu kitena kuimona mundu kitena kuimona pange ngongo ya tema tusomba baba nzumbi tulengele kumatuta pange tulengele kumatuta pange tulengele